It's been a year since I cut off my narcissistic best friend, and looking back, it was the best decision I could have ever made. I wanted to finally talk about how I cut her off and went no contact, as since I kind of started my TikTok, I've gotten a few questions here and there about how exactly did I cut her off and how I ended the friendship. And as you can see, I have my seal here, my emotional support seal for comfort. This decision was not an easy one. And I spent many days and nights thinking about this, really taking it all in and making the connections. I did so much thinking and contemplating about this because I knew that my decision was going to be final and there's no going back. And 17 years of friendship is a long time. We met when we were kids, and it's hard to let go of someone you're so connected to and you're so trauma bonded with. She was like a sister to me, and I genuinely considered her to be like my family. Before we get into it, I also did want to mention when I was going through those months prior to cutting her off, a mutual friend of ours had told me that she had made a comment that she'd noticed, my ex-best friend had noticed that I've become more emotionally intelligent. And to me, hearing that comment really solidified that she knew that I knew, that she knew that I knew, and the gig was up. I did so much research on narcissistic friendships and how to deal with a narcissistic friendship, how to deal with their manipulation, how to, not feel horrible every time you leave them. And yes, there are ways to cope while you need to, but it's no way to live. And the way I ended the friendship, I don't necessarily recommend or, do as I do, as everyone's different and everyone's situation is different. But I knew what my intention was and my goal, which was to end the friendship and end contact with her while also sharing everything that I feel about her and what she's done to me. And I'm not saying the way I handled things was right or perfect, but it worked for me. Basically, I cut her off last August, and a few months before August last summer is, I think, again, when she started to pick up that I was noticing how her behavior was just not okay towards me. And she picked up on this. She started to pick up on me not falling for her BS manipulation anymore. She tried to schedule Zooms with me and tried to, again, state things in very strange and weird ways, like, why am I not reacting like the way I did in high school? And just trying to switch up scenarios and situations that just didn't make sense. Like, we've been out of high school for like over a decade, girl. So this month last year is when I just decided it just needs to be done. It was doing me no good. It was doing nobody any good with this friendship continuing. When in my heart, I knew how toxic she was. And I didn't want to have to keep being around her, putting on an act, the gray rock method, when I just want to be me and be authentic. I don't want to put on any fronts. And for me, as soon as I know who you truly are, even if it takes me a long ass time, that's it. You have no access to me anymore. We're done. You're dead to me. I made a promise to myself when I left all of my ex-abusers, but most specifically my last one, that I would never sacrifice my authenticity or who I am for the sake of someone who has mistreated me. We don't live in the same city currently, but it wouldn't matter anyways because I didn't want to end the friendship face to face because I don't believe she deserves my physical presence then or ever again. So the morning I decided to do it, I woke up, I took deep breaths, and I just started writing. I wrote from my soul and my heart. I wrote everything I felt, every crushing word spoken, every crushing action taken, every insult, every degrading thing. It was no longer in the dark. It was brought to light and out of the abyss that it had been hiding in for far, far too long. And as if it never happened, when all of it happened. I wrote many paragraphs, and I will say I'm proud of what I wrote, and I don't regret any single thing I said. I won't get into what I said, maybe one day, but essentially I ended it off with telling her to no longer contact me, and essentially she no longer exists in my reality. And I will say I didn't block her immediately. I waited a few days to see if she would have anything else to say, because the only response I got to all of these paragraphs detailing, outlining the pain, the anguish, just everything she's done to me. She destroyed me as a person. And all she could say and stomach to say to me was goodbye. Not even, I'm sorry, goodbye. And that is how narcissistic people operate. When they no longer can get supply from you, they no longer can extract your resources, they can't use you or manipulate you. You mean nothing to them. For me, although I can understand the psychology of a narcissist, I'll never understand how these people truly operate, in a sense, because to me, even if someone I wasn't close with opened up to me and wrote all of these things of how my behavior affected them, even if I didn't totally agree with everything, I would still genuinely apologize and feel awful for knowing that I caused someone else so much anguish and pain unintentionally. Let alone someone who's supposed to be my best friend of 17 years could only say one word to me. So I guess I really shouldn't be shocked, but I'd be lying if I said I still wasn't a bit taken aback there wasn't anything else. After that, almost all our mutuals and obviously her friends blocked and deleted me, which I don't give a shit about, good riddance. Took me a while to talk about this because it was such a big decision for me, and honestly I was hurt by how all of this went down. But nothing hurts more than allowing a narcissist to actually stay in your life.